public safety contracts the last time around, and specifically the amount of vacation and sick and personal time that we routinely approve. The chiefs, of course, having now reached the pinnacle of their respective departments, should not be, and I don't expect them, to take a reduction in terms of that aspect of the total compensation package. But the problem, we say from time to time that we're cognizant of it, and Leon does say it every time during the budget, that your personnel costs are two-thirds almost of your budget. And I've asked in the past if somebody could explain to me why we end up negotiating for such, I would say, unrealistic amounts of vacation and sick and personal time in our collective bargaining agreements. That question has really never been answered, but the bottom line of it is that under the current contracts, a person in either department, basically, who is at the top of the pay scale, short of being a chief, would have something between 25 and 30% of the total annual work days available to them through vacation or sick or personal time. We actually, the contract that's being proposed for the fire chief is an improvement over the last chief's contract, where the number was 30%. It was 77, out of a prospective 260-day work year, fully 77 days could have been taken each year under that contract for these categories of vacation and sick. Nothing's going to change unless we start the change, if there's really a willingness to make that kind of a change. I don't know if there is, but when we negotiate the contracts, we're negotiating now with police, we'll be negotiating with fire. You know, as long as we forget the salaries and forget the steps in the contracts, for that one piece of it, the additional time and the time off that people are entitled to, and much of which can be carried forward. There are some caps now, but realistically, you know, the caps don't necessarily help you because they almost compel a person then to use all their time each year if they're not in a position to carry any more additional time. So we end up with, even the best negotiated contracts now for chiefs are basically driven by the contracts that preceded them in each of the departments and the benefit levels that we routinely give there. So I've always thought that, you know, lacking some explanation, those numbers are just too high. And for 25 to 30% of a person's work year to be basically time off, if they want it to be, that I've never heard explained in any kind of reasonable way. So I'm not going to vote no, because that wouldn't be fair to either of the chiefs, but, you know, I also can't vote yes, so I abstain.
Sera?
As I look at these contracts, you know, a lot of times people get upset about union contracts. And there's a lot of people who want instant change. They want things to just magically change and go the way they want. What I look at with this is it puts us in a better position. Our chiefs worked with us to do this. You look at raises are no longer tied to what the bargaining units get. All the money that's negotiated for is now inside. You don't have longevity, education, and clothing allowances outside that sum of money. It provides better transparency and puts the city in a better position for where we go next. I think that the contracts that were negotiated put Brigantine in a good position to continue to move forward. And I'll tell you, both of our chiefs do an outstanding job. I'm proud of what they do. And I think this is fair compensation for the job that they do. So I say yes.
They're not going to cheat the city out of anything, as we were talking about. Compensation if they were sick or they feel they need to burn days or whatever the case may be.
They have given up longevity in this contract. Longevity is now part of their total compensation, so it will not sit outside. But it's no longer a side piece to the contract. They've given up their education benefit. They've given up their clothing allowance. So those things are now part of a total compensation package, and they will be in the contract. And it is much more transparent that way. And the issue with public employees and sick time, you get into a situation where this debate goes on. The employees who show up every day and haven't burned their sick time, and there's an assumption sometimes that is made that if you give someone 12 sick days a year, they're going to use 12 sick days a year, that they have been employees. So I think this is a good contract. I think it's a fair contract for the city of Brigantine. It's transparent. This is the total compensation that our police and fire chiefs will receive. And I'm happy to vote on this because it is securing the employment because the contract goes both ways. There are some penalties if they leave early. We actually are able to know that we have the quality individuals that we have serving in these positions will be here for the term of this contract. And quite frankly, I hope they stay longer.